baby's home. Cairo, Cairo is my baby's home. One bad Cairo night won't be long. Women in Cairo, they will treat you kind and sweet. Women in Cairo, they will treat you kind and sweet. Catch you riding and take you off your feet. Shoot you, knock you, teach you and cut you too. Shoot you and knock you, teach you and cut you too. They get through the graveyard then for you. Women in Cairo send you down to your grave.
Hello and welcome. Happy New Year, January 1st. And the first live stream for this year, number 88. Not in a row. I had a couple of weeks that I just couldn't go online like this, but it's been a blast. 2 years of live streaming, most of the Mondays, the 88th today. So welcome from the heart. It's been great. It's been a blast. All right. Milovan is here. Oh, you are somewhere up the screen. Let's do this. Great to see you, Milovan. And I'm wondering if those of you who are coming now are still celebrating, or you having a hangover or something from last night. I don't know how violent was a celebration for the new year. Those years are kind of behind me. I really took it very, very easy, both for the Christmas and for the New Year's Eve. All right. So the scene for today is ready, and we're going back to basics. And there is also something that I'd like to expand on when it comes to, what to play, how to start, how to keep a consistent dedication to not only slide playing, but guitar playing overall. It's something that I very often hear from both my students, my participants in my guitar retreats, people I meet, sometimes even colleagues, musicians who kind of, just like me many times, just kind of get into this routine that we play kind of same kind of gigs, same for pretty similar audiences all the time. And you get into this kind of convenient and quite comfortable role of, okay, I can deliver my job, I can deliver some, good program, and that's it. And then we don't really go further than that. I'm trying to combat that. It's not easy. Sometimes it's really like you plan ahead and you say like, okay, I'll do it for the next gig. When I come to this place next time, I'll try to do something totally new and whatever. Yeah, I've done it before, but not as often as I really wanted to. So a little bit of like throwing the ashes on my own head, like okay, I got to get better with that. So let that be my New Year's resolution, to go a bit deeper in the gigs I'm about to play, places I'm about to perform at, and just to do something more, something deeper, something a bit better. That's mine. What's yours? So what are we going to do today? Apart from the usual casual blues backup, just to warm up with, we'll go into open G and we'll play the song Glory, Glory, Hallelujah, When I Lay My Burden Down, which has many names. Sometimes it's just Glory, Glory, sometimes it's When I Lay My Burden Down, and the zillions of blues musicians, blues heroes of mine have played this song. One of the most influential on me were by I think, Farrell Lewis and Fred McDowell, of course. But over the years, I've kind of developed my own version of that song, and I'll show it to you in open G, which is one of my favorite tunings of all the two that I'm usually playing. That's open G or open D. I think that's a never-ending story. Exploration of those two tunings have taken me, over more than 40 years of playing, and I'm still enjoying each time I play them. So that's what we're going to do today. Great. Oops. Throwing my slides away here. So I think we're ready for the blues intro and the blues backup. I will still need to check my tuning, ladies and gentlemen. That's due to some humidity changes here in the room where I left my guitars, and I had the humidifier on for the first time since the summer, or since the early spring when I stopped using it. So it's like the guitars are not really in tune. This is quite okay. This one kept it. Let's see what happens with the little guitar, the resophonic, where you have the metal resonator down here inside. Good. Let's do it. Blues backup in standard tuning, key of E. All right, that was a bit more sophisticated blues backup than just a blues backup. It was a excuse me. It was a combination of almost solo licks that I would sometimes use when I play with other people or even a solo. Solo doesn't always have to be single note runs. Don't think electric guitar when we're talking acoustic guitar, because I've seen acoustic guitar players, but mostly they were electric players playing the acoustic for the occasion, or just kind of, okay, let's do an unplugged gig. And then you see them playing exactly the same way the electric guitars played, which means either with fingers or with a plectrum, but basically single note runs. I was never interested in that kind of soloing. I can barely bend the strings on electric guitar. Sometimes I do it, and I did it before, but kind of when I moved totally to the acoustic guitar, it was just like I always have to have some kind of a backup, some kind of things that are both a melody of some kind and a bit of backup. So what I did here that was a little bit different from before was let's see if I can remember that. Oh damn. Okay, so first of all, the things in between what a casual music listener hears. So what a non-trained ear would hear is this. One more time. So they might register, let's say, or you might register the bass going steady 1, 2, 3, 4, and then something happening on the treble strings like. But what I actually do sometimes, quite often, is this. So there are always these small kind of quirks, some things that I would do with my fingers. It's like, okay, it's not really a part of a solo or something, but I need to be kind of, touching the strings, doing something in between the notes, something maybe before the note to make it kind of a bit jumpy or syncopating or something like that. So it's like so it's not only, and then you go. Quite sufficient for somebody who's totally new to guitar playing, to blues playing, to kind of combining basses and treble strings. This is great. So if you've never played before and you want to do something like this is a fantastic first step. But as soon as you're able to do that, start thinking about, don't be afraid to pick more with your picking hand than just those notes that you're playing. Experiment. Maybe if I could just. You see this? Slow it down. So everything that you think you can do, try to do it even slower. If you make a mistake or something, then it's still not really sitting there in your drawer, in the back of your mind when you're about to play and just, execute a lick after lick or something. Okay, I did that. And then I also did this. So this is so cool because I just told you I'm not bending strings. Well, this is not the electric guitar bending of the string, which is heavier than this. There's more movement to it. But on this one, I just kind of go in between this note. So this would be a totally E major chord, right? But then I play only these notes of that E major chord, but then I kind of do this, and I never really reach this note, but it's not this note either, so it's something in between. And then you kind of fool around with it while you're keeping the first string fretted on the 7th fret, with the index finger, and then you're kind of slowly and quite kind of in the moody way, you're bending the second string. And all these glidings from, let's say, upper positions to lower, or from lower position to higher, all those things can be a part of the arrangement. I could have played, right? I could have done that, but I did. I go from the this, so I'm gliding into that grip. So every time you get stuck and you think like, oh, I'm so tired of all my licks. I know these kind of 5 or 10 licks or whatever. I'm keeping, I keep playing them over and over again, and you just get tired of that. Well, that's the moment when you need to start thinking, okay, what could I add? What could I maybe take away? Maybe I'm playing too much. Maybe it's, just experiment with it. And it's always a great, now we all have smartphones, and the microphones on those are just amazing. Just put your earphones and in your ears, record a couple of backups for yourself and just play to that on top of that, and make the backup very basic like this, and then just fool around. So that would be my tip for the new year, for like if anybody had this New Year's resolution of like, oh, I'll get better at guitar playing. So there you go. Take the things you already know and put them on a little bit higher level. Play deeper, play faster, slower, or whatever. And there's one more aspect to that, and I'll come back to it when we start talking about the slide guitar playing, because I have a list of things that I recommend humbly that you should be thinking about when starting playing the slide, or kind of developing your style even more, or if you're stuck in your slide playing with a couple of songs that you know, but then you're not really going any further. That's where I also have some tips to go. All right, let's see who else has joined us today live. Boyan, man, that's 12 o'clock for you in the middle of the day, and you're usually working, right? But now you're having a time off, right? Okay, cool. Boyan, yeah, man, we go way back, Boyan and I. We're from the same town in the former Yugoslavia, and Boyan is also, apart from being an actor, he's a musician as well. Oh, Norwegian Attack, we're back. We're back on track. Geir is here. That's great. Happy New Year. David, hey man, thank you for a great live stream today. On the 1st of January, both David and I decided to do the live stream, not taking the time off. Let's just lead off the new year with something nice. And David inspired me with the choice of the song, because David plays very deeply and thoughtful music when he plays his live streams. He's a piano player, right? And I'm always inspired by him playing and singing and talking about music. And we are in this network of MLB crew, like making life better. It's like, be the reason somebody smiles today. That's great. David has introduced that expression for me, and I really like it. Right. So I hope my slide little lesson is not going to make you sad. I hope it's going to make you glad. All right. So let's see. I think we should go right away to the slide guitar playing. And so I promised in the description of this video, if you've watched it or if you read it, or if you can see it now while we're live streaming. And I promised you a content today that would basically be a couple of first slide lessons that you would take from a qualified teacher, right? So since this is a live stream and I cannot hear you play, it's not the same as we're sitting together and having a slide lesson either online or in real life. So I get all the time for talking and describing things, which means you can always come back to this and watch it over again and just go through all these parts per se and just maybe concentrate on 4 or 5 minutes of this live stream that you would like to work on for a while. And yeah, let's do that now. All right, the tune up, open G. So the most important part with playing the slide, of course, is the choice of the slide. So if you just let me go through my tuning for a second. That's quite okay. Nice. Good. So we got the open G, which is, if you're looking from the right on your screens, that would be the first string down here, which is the D note. It's on the what we usually call the E string, but it's now the note of D because we tune down whole step from E to D. So if you compare it to the standard tuning, you see that the second, the third, and the fourth strings are the same as in the standard tuning. It's B, G, and D. So then the fifth string goes down from A in the standard tuning down to G, which is comparable with the open third string. But they're in 2 octaves, right? So you need to go from. But if you want to just play harmonics on the 12th fret on the 5th string, that's where you have the same note in the same register as this open string, so right? And then we go from the 6th string also. And here I can hear that. Here I can hear that this is too sharp. So there are 2 ways I would do that. If it would work, sometimes I would just kind of pull this 6th string a little bit like this, stretch it, and it would maybe go down. Let's see. It's there somewhere, right? For those of you who are new to open tunings, and especially the G open tuning that we're doing now, so let me just show you this 3 main chords. The first one is just open strings, right? The whole chord is there ready for you. And then the 5th fret, is your C chord, which is the 4th, which is a second chord in any blues or rock progression. And then you have the 7th fret, which is in D. And this, just as if you were playing in the standard tuning, if you play the C, but just don't play the 5th string, just leave it open. And don't play the 1st string, which is usually dampened like this. And then just G. And why am I showing you this? The main reason is that my main recommendation when it comes to overall guitar playing, and especially when you're playing slide, that you develop the awareness of which string you're picking and which string is ringing, which string is not ringing. And you can get to that control by just really being conscious of what you're doing with your picking hand and with your fretting hand here. They have to work in unison, which means if I want to play all these 5 strings, then I'm not in a way here. But sometimes I can just decide that, okay, I want to play this chord without a 3rd, which would be the 2nd string, note of B. I can just fret it on the 3rd fret and get this really powerful G note, G chord. Oh, now we're coming to slide playing. That's great. So the first level of your control of the guitar is your fretting hand, fingers that you're using. I'm mostly playing with 3 fingers. My thumb, index, and the third finger. These 3 are my main fingers. This finger is sometimes there just to kind of dampen the strings or something, but I'm mainly playing with these 3. I'm not telling you to play with those 3 fingers only, because I've seen both blues and, guitar players of different music styles that use 4, sometimes 5 fingers to pick with, so that's great. If you're already familiar with some of those techniques, just keep it. Don't change it just because of this. So, I love things when I can just go and go with my thumb over like 2 or 3 strings. Right, I grab a chord or whatever, something, the G7th on the 3rd fret first and the 2nd string. But then I just don't play just that. I usually use the bass. But sometimes also I would just go. So I'm kind of brushing with my thumb and having this control of how low I will come. If I want to play just the 3 strings, like 5th, 4th, and the 3rd, that will be like this. So see, even if I'm not fretting anything here, so I'm not kind of damping anything, I developed the control that I know this is going to be just brushing to the 3rd string. Then I'm going to include the 2nd string as well. Right, and then all 5 strings. So it's kind of that's the first step, really, because you can use the best technique of placing the slide, choosing the great slide, having a great string action, string gauge, everything, and still it's not going to be good or perfect because maybe the picking hand is not really kind of coordinated with all the other stuff that you're doing. So let's go from the start. Open 1st string, and then the 5th fret of the 1st string, right? Only that note. And I'll show you another angle here. Right, so what I'm doing here is that I'm angling the slide from the strings. If I show it like this. So I'm not placing it totally parallel to the fretboard and then kind of going all the way down, because I just want to play the 1st string, that note, right? I also make sure that I kind of angle it a little bit, not too much, because if you angle it too much, then you're going to start touching the fretboard and your frets, right? So this is like a, ooh, I don't like that sound, of course. So the first stage should be to find the right angle for your guitar, because this is very dependent on the style of your guitar, on the how rounded the neck is, or if it's totally flat. I've seen people playing real flat tops, which means that it's like on the classical guitars, the fretboard is totally plain, right? So it's not rounded like on this one. So this is the angle that's necessary on this guitar. So I just make sure that I'm not touching the 2nd string, right? Otherwise, if I would just have it like this, there's this risk that I'm picking the 2nd string as well. So I don't want that. I just want the isolated 1st string, 5th fret, that note. The second thing that you need to think about is the fretting behind the slide. So this is a technique that could be explained in many different ways, because there are different ways to fret behind the slide. I would, let's say, always use my index to do that. No matter where on the guitar neck I'm playing, it's always my index finger that's very lightly touching the strings. And there's this technique that I'm using when I'm playing. My index is very seldom coming further up than where the slide is positioned. You see, so if I'm playing a note on, let's say, 4th fret on the 3rd string, right? You see, my index is not touching the 4th string if I don't want to. If I would have to make that note totally isolated and just to make sure nothing else is being heard, then this will be the technique to do it, right? So I have placed my index on all 5 strings, but then I'm only picking the 3rd string. And if we watch from the side, then my slide is not coming over to the 4th string, so that way everything else is dampened. What I'm doing with my my right hand, with my picking hand, is that I'm playing the same note now. See, I'm dampening the 4th string with my thumb as well, so it's dampened both here on the fretting side and on the picking side. And then I'm also touching the 1st and the 2nd string with my picking hand, and then I'm just picking the 3rd string. So if I want to include the big bass, which is always beautiful with this note, like oh, now I touched the 4th string. That wasn't good, so now it's clean, now it's fine. Now this note is going to be included in the melody of Glory, Glory. So we're getting to it. We're getting to it. All right, guys. Let's go on. Let me just check this one. All right. Benchev SB. Hi. Good to see you here. Welcome. Good. We got that. So I also have another piece of advice when it comes to slide playing, no matter which note you're going to play. If we stay on the 1st string and the 5th fret and playing just that note of G, in order to make this note really clean, I have a 4-step method that I've developed for my own playing. I'm not saying it's the best, but it's really helping me. So what I usually do is that my mind kind of got used to know which note I want to start with when it comes to a phrase, a backup pattern, or whatever I'm going to play. I know which note I need to play or I want to play. And then it's always so that I choose to place the picking finger on that string just to make sure that it's dampened first. So that's my first level of damping. That's that note. We're talking about the 1st string, right? So, and then I would dampen behind the slide where I'm about to place it. Then I would place the slide on a string, and then I would pick it. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the 4th step is actually playing the note, and then we start vibrating. There are many aspects of vibrating that slided note, but sometimes I would start directly like that 1, 2, 3, 4. But sometimes I would do like this 1, 2, 3, right? So I would start flat, just not vibrating the note at all, but then I would give it some life. Then another aspect of this kind of placing the slide where I want to put it on when it comes to the fretboard. It's a kind of a rule of thumb for me is that I always place the slide on the lowest string that I'm about to play. Lowest, which means lowest visual, like it's low strings for me are not the bass strings. The low strings are visually down there, the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or whatever. So I put the slide as low down in that direction that I need. So if I'm about to play this 1st string, my slide is here. If I want to play the 2nd string or the 3rd, of course I'll be able to, or even the 4th, right? I would be able to go up and down very smoothly with my slide. I've seen people play with the slide kind of maybe in this height, but still they're only playing the second string. I would do that very seldom, only if I'm about to play the chord after that, or if I would need it. But this kind of technique of going as low as I need to get the clean note and clean tone is something that really helped me to play better. It's like I got this habit of doing that, and after a couple of years it just came into automation, and I always do like that. So let's go this one. Right, so how you will vibrate will depend on your mood, on the guitar, on both the hardware and the software up here. So your software needs to command the hardware. Let's go, and I will play you Glory, Glory, When I Lay My Burden Down melody, starting from the first string, open string. So let's go like, and we go, those are the notes to start with. So open string, second fret, fifth fret, the ninth. For this, I wouldn't even need the slide to play with. So without a vibrato and without gliding in between those notes, it's not really slide playing. So that's the beauty of slide, which can really you can give the same melody to like 3 slide players, and they're all going to sound different. It's impossible that they play it the same way. Everybody's vibrato is unique. So let's do it from the beginning. Then ninth, 7th, 5th, 9, 9, 7, 5, 7, 5, second fret, open string first. Then same thing. 9, 12. Now 14, 12, 9. And now it would be nice if you could play this, or so 3 notes, 9th, 7th, and the 5th fret. This is with just one picking of my picking hand, right? Or just gliding all the way down. So my first recommendation of, without playing any song in particular, any melody, whatever, just experiment with gliding with the slide in between notes. So if you have the G chord, and then just choose that 5th fret note here, and then just glide somewhere, down, up. If you have a good musical ear, then you'll be able to just know where the notes of the scale are on this first string, like a. Okay, so that's like a 1st, 2nd, 4th, 5th, and then 7th, 9, 11, 12. Good, fretted notes. Now play them with slide. So the way I played it now was kind of a staccato, like I didn't vibrate too much in between. I kind of went to the note, I played it, vibrated just a little bit, then I moved to the next one. To play with a little bit more music into it is like a. which means this could give you at least 5 or 6, 7, 8, 10 different kind of exercises, or just, ways of you giving yourself a lesson. Okay, this time I will just glide with as little picking notes as I can, like a... And then when you say, okay, now I'm tired of that, what should I do now? Well, do everything the other way around. Go from the higher notes down. If you're listening very carefully, the overtones that you're getting here are so beautiful. I'm dampening all the strings except for the first two, maybe. Let's say. You hear that? You hear that? Basically, we play this melody in the scale in D, the chord of D, right? But it will be the same if we played it on G. So the rule here is basically whichever string you choose, it would be the same frets to play the melody. It's always first, second, fourth, 5, 7, 9, 11, 12. They will just lead us to different scales. But that's also something, okay, then I know how to play the scales on any string in open G. So that's also a great accomplishment. So you know where the notes are. So if we, now when I showed you the G scale, I'll play that on the third string. And this goes right into, let's say when we play Glory, Glory, Hallelujah, and I will, of course, get back to that, is that particular melody sounds great when played with a little bit of a control over slide and also angling. The first angling that I've showed you was this from the strings on the first string and down. But if I want to play a note of G, but on the fourth string, which would be the D string, the third one, this one, right? No, this one. And then I want to play it on the 5th fret. That would be the same note as the open 5th string. Just to make sure everything is visually okay. So 4th string on the 5th fret, and then I'm picking the 5th string. And then we have the 3rd note of G on the open G string. This is so usable. This is so creative in some moments, and it's great if you have the control over that, even as a beginner. I think that no matter how big of a beginner somebody is, they always have enough room in their brains to just know how some notes are played. Then the simple hardware execution with your fingers is a couple of weeks, months, maybe years of practicing, but you will know how it's done. That's why I'm not really so fond of guitar lessons or guitar courses where they really keep you as a kind of beginner course, and they just really keep you on the beginner level. I know it's a business. People want you to buy their advanced courses or intermediate and then the advanced courses and everything. I know the business side of it, of course, but I worked with so many people and both participants on my guitar retreat and just having these workshops online, teaching, and most of those people told me that, man, I just get stuck in this so simple beginner level. Okay, I fixed it, but now what? So maybe at some point I will make my own guitar course where I would just incorporate everything in one big course where you can go from the beginner level to a bit more advanced stuff, then picking patterns or whatever. And just kind of, I don't know. But in this particular case, if I want to play these 3 notes and give them some special slide life, it would sound like this. So what I did here was that I chose to angle the slide from the strings, but then place it on the fifth string, on the fifth fret of the fourth string. And this will be beautiful just on its own. It's really nice. Sorry. I'm trying to kind of watch in 3 different angles here. But then if I want to play the open G string, which is now fretted here, so it's not good, then I would just kind of lift the slide from the fifth string and just place it on the fourth string on the fifth fret, then dampen behind that string just a little bit. This is a matter of practice, of course. When I just played you for the first time, I just made it without, problems. But now when I'm trying to explain it and, look at it from here and all that stuff, it's like there we go. And now I didn't dampen behind the string because I wanted everything to ring. Because when you don't dampen, what you're hearing is also this behind the slide, right? So this here. Compared to, and then without dampening. Good. Let's go back to Glory, Glory, Hallelujah. Now I've played the melody for you, right? Now we'll do a little bit of a picking pattern. So. So the basics of this picking patterns are bass, chord, bass, chord. Either like this, the G string, the fifth string, and then the chord down. Or that we incorporate the sixth string as like this. Fifth string, chord, sixth string, chord. So that's the pattern. And then we try to incorporate the melody into it. And the most often question asked is, well, I always get stuck. Like I can start with it, but I just can't keep the rhythm going with my right hand while I'm playing the melody at the same time. Some parts are easy. It's always easy to start because you don't play any backup with your right hand until you come to this first. Here. This is where the problems arise, because that needs a control over your right hand, which means practice only your right hand. Practice playing all 3 chords, and you can incorporate this into a slide guitar exercise by playing first just G chord, and then just move everything to the 5th fret. This is great exercise for controlling the slide, and if you want to fret all 6 strings, this could be dependent on both software and hardware. When it comes to hardware, it's a matter of how high your strings are, how the string action is set on that guitar. If the strings are of heavier gauge, and then the radius of the neck. If the neck is very round, then it might be difficult that, this neck is kind of in between. It's a bit round, but it's not too round. I have another guitar that's this silver tone that's really rounded with a neck, but somehow I still manage to play all 6 strings at the same time because they are quite close. So there's no big radius in between, right? So on this guitar, I can place the slide on the 5th string, 5th fret. And then I'm dampening behind the slide with, and then on the 7th fret, the chord of D. And then G. The beauty of slide playing when it comes to chord shapes is also that you can, if you want to practice this one, and the C chord, you can glide to the 5th fret, to the whole chord, but then, right, I'm vibrating the whole chord. This sounds great, sounds compact, it's really nice. You're vibrating every note you're playing. But imagine if you could get the control over the sliding, just going down from the 5th fret and let it play open, like this. This is ringing more. This, so you're playing the open 5th string, and that string rings more like that than when you fret it on the 5th fret. It's giving you a little bit more of that guitar body touch. So what I'm quite often using is this technique. And so on. So in this particular song, there's also this way to play the open 6th string when you play the D chord. I like that chord progression. G and then C, G. And you can also add on the 5th fret with a slide. The technique you need here is this thing. So I really release the slide fast here. I just play that chord first. And the moment I pick the strings again is where actually I dampen the strings, so I don't get this. Different ways of doing the same thing. That's nice. Let's go back to the melody with a backup on the chords, and while we're going to that, I will show you some new stuff as well. So. And let me explain you what I did here. I went, and now here when I come to the chord of C, I put the slide on the strings. So there are several things happening here. The first is, so I glide from the 5th fret to the 7th, and I'm picking only 1st and 2nd string. So I'm playing first the chord pattern with also my picking hand. That's the first one. And then so I'm playing the melodies. Instead of playing, so I'm losing this nice kind of slide downwards, but I'm getting this nice kind of vibrated chord. So what I'm utilizing here is, so the first string and the second strings are ringing together. And then I'm playing the open first string and then the chord. Or like just those two notes. Fifth string open and open first string. So all together. And now go back. Or so that's also a possibility if you have the control of playing on, let's say, second string, which is the same as on the first string between ninth, seventh, fifth. And there is also that melody up here. And then you have the I just saw oh, thank you. Patrick says that the guitar and the voice sound great. Thank you. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. Mississippi John Hurt as well. Farrah Lewis, Mississippi Fred McDowell. They just played it fantastic. Albert, great to see you. Welcome to the new year together with all of us. Wonderful to see you here. Milovan says, the song sounds just like Will the Circle Be Unbroken? Yes, definitely. It does. So, will the circle be unbroken by and by and by and by? Exactly. It's the same melody, but it's, I don't know which was the first. I think Glory Glory was the first. And Will the Circle Be Unbroken? I think that came in maybe late 20s, 30s. Of course, Glory Glory, the first version of Glory Glory that I know of is by Mississippi John Hurt, but I'm not sure if it's on his 1928 album called Avalon. I'm not sure. But if I recall correctly, I think the Glory Glory was first. It was a spiritual hymn because the lyrics are about when I lay my burden down, either on the way to the other side, if somebody's died, or it's just just a maybe song from the slavery, from the times of slavery. And glory, glory, hallelujah, when I lay my burden down, when I don't have to carry stuff anymore, when I don't have to work that hard. There's a lot of, suffering in those lyrics, and I think even the melody kind of emphasizes that. So I believe that that was the first one. And then Will the Circle Be Unbroken came. Feliz Año Nuevo. Oh, God. I just did it publicly. I can't speak Spanish, sorry. Just try to interpret your words here. Hola, hola. Oh, there's a multilingual Mr. Hunt. Great. So, one of the most important things from this today's live stream, I think it's this about angling the slide as needed, and also from the strings like this, from the strings like this, if you want to reach some of the bass notes. And let me just play you first the melody, a kind of variation of the melody that I would develop from the melody of Glory Glory, but I would play it on the third string. Sorry, on the fourth and the third string. So you saw in a really big picture what my fretting hand was doing and how the slide was moving. Let me play you this same thing now when you see both hands. There's a lot of dampening going on here, and since this is just really improvised, maybe 20 minutes before I was about to do the live streams, like, okay, maybe I'll be able to execute it and to play it for you guys, but I'm still not really 100% sure of this melody and how I would play it. So if I try to play it slowly, I will go like this. So I came to that note on the 5th fret of the 4th string, and I'm placing the kind of lifting the slide from the 3rd string so it's not touching the 3rd string at all. But then I'll need that 3rd string in, and then I dampen all the rest of the strings when I get to. So what I do here is a bit of cheating, but also a dynamic thing to do. It's like a. And then I like that kind of, it's audible, but I didn't pick it, the 4th string. I didn't play the, but it's there, somewhere, right? If I play all those 3 strings, that would be like this. And in this lick, in this way to play this melody, I incorporated the first thing that I told you when I was playing just the basic blues backup. It's kind of, I'm kind of fooling around with my picking hand. So these fingers are fooling around with the notes that are here somewhere. And then exploring like what's there more to play with that note, and trying not to play too much, because if I would just do this all the time, it'd be boring and there's no real music in there. If you really want to play every note that would be kind of in good harmony with the note you're playing, sometimes it would be just. bit more soulful. It's a little bit more concentrated on the melody. But if I would kind of get a little bit, sometimes I get angry when I play this song because sometimes you just feel the heavy burden of that song, why it was written, why. Because it came from suffering. It didn't come from like, oh, that's great. Let's just take my burden down. No problem. Yeah, I'm getting paid for this. No, it's deeper than that. Of course, you're aware of that. If you're listening to me watching this live stream, you are into this, kind of music and both blues and early spirituals and all that. So I don't have to explain this to you. But if somebody's totally new to this, and if this is your first time watching me, first of all, welcome. That's great. But then, just as a little explanation, let me go and play the same lick a bit more kind of gritty. I don't know. Maybe I can do it just by commanding myself to get gritty. But okay, let's try it. It can be ordered. It's the way it is. So I guess now I'm a bit more into that kind of moody mood to play this song. But that was it. I've shown you the song from the beginning with just playing the slide melody, then incorporating some picking patterns, and I hope it will maybe inspire you to start playing slide if you haven't already. And I've really enjoyed when David said in his live stream today that, well, he's a piano player, but he's really into getting more into playing guitar this year because, I mean, guitar is an instrument you can always take with you anywhere you go. A little acoustic guitar is easy just to throw into the back of your truck or in the car, have it lying around somewhere, anywhere in the house. Piano is a kind of big, chunky piece of an instrument, which is fantastic. I would have loved to have learned something more about piano playing over these 40 years that I've been working with music. But yeah, I'm a guitar player. But David has a guitar and he started playing, so I hope you will keep it up for the 2024 and further on. It's going to be great. All right, so I think we are adjourned for today. 11 minutes past the hour. Sorry about that. In those parts of the world that are near me, it's 10:11 p.m. here. And let's see if we have any more comments here. Nope. Oh, here's a big fan of Open G tuning. Thank you, Patrick. I know you're enjoying that. It's so good to know. Yeah. Thank you so much. All right, guys. I think, of course, I'm going to do the next live stream number 89 next week on January 8th. But then on the Monday after that, I think I'll have a special guest and maybe even here live in the studio or in the room. So I'll tell you more about that when I'm announcing that live stream. But next week I'm alone again, and maybe we'll take another song in open D this time. So let's do that together. I hope I'll see you back again. Thank you so much for today, and you guys have a great week and a great beginning of 2024. And I hope to see you next week. All the best.
And it was in spring, one sunny day, my sweetheart left me Lord, she went away. Now she's gone, and I don't worry. But I'm sitting on top of the world. Ex could call me up, down and out by soul. Said, come back, Daddy. Lord, I need your soul. Now she's gone, and I don't worry. 'Cause I'm sitting on top of the world. Don't like my peaches, don't you shake my tree. Get out of my orchard, let my peaches be. Now she's gone, I don't worry. But I'm sitting on top of the world. Was in spring, one sunny day, my sweetheart left me, now she went away. Now she's gone, I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top of the world. Now she's gone,